So in the studio tonight, we've got Lenovo's Thinkpad P1 Gen 6. Now I'm really excited about this laptop because although this is a ThinkPad, they've now given it a gaming 16-inch screen with 500 nits of brightness, and we've also got the RTX4060 series range of graphics in here. Now I've got the 13800H new 13th gen CPU and an RTX4060. So I'm hoping we're going to get some pretty good performance, not as good as a gaming laptop, but this is a workstation laptop, but it's going to be a decent workstation that you can game on as well. So, box within a box in typical Lenovo style. You see the label, Thinkpad P1 Gen 6, gives you configuration. Now, you may have noticed before in previous years, we had the Thinkpad P1, which had the more workstation range of graphics cards, such as the A2000, A1000, and then you had the Thinkpad X1, which was the more consumer range, which had the RTX range and the 3050 Ti. Now they seem to have got rid of the X1 Extreme, and we're only having the P1 range, which has all the graphics cards options. Another little label to cut to get in there, and then open the box. Now, as far as I'm aware, because this is a customized order, not off the shelf, I don't get the retail packaging, you just get a very boring looking card insert. And if I pull that out, there is the laptop itself. So it's still safely packaged. And we have a nice cover around the laptop. Let's put that to one side. Little envelope with our sort of warranty information and just basics. And in the last box, we've got our power supply. Now they've supplied a 230 watts, so it's quite heavy and chunky, but nothing like a gaming laptop adapter. And a UK plug, so I am in the UK, you'll get your regions version. But it's your usual Lenovo slim tip power adapter. I do like these, they sort of fit in either way round and they sit nicely in the laptops themselves. Right, get the actual laptop itself. I've always been a big ThinkPad fan. One of the biggest things I've disliked about ThinkPads in the past is just the fact that they're 60Hz screens, which is just a standard workstation issue. Now last year they did bring out this 165Hz screen, but I didn't get a chance to try one. So I had to get one in this year. Now, because I've got the 500 nit 165Hz panel, I get the standard black finish. If you get the 4K panel, you do get the carbon weave, but either is good. This is a nice soft touch finish. You can see the little Lenovo logo is now in black, so it's very subdued. And then we've got the usual ThinkPad with the little dots for the eye. I'm sure that lights up like they have in previous years. Now before I open it up, we'll have a quick look at the ports. So ports-wise with this laptop, on the right side, we get a full-size SD card slot because this is a workstation laptop, 2 USB-A ports, and a Kensington lock, so if you do need to lock it into your desk in a work environment. On the left side of the laptop, we've got a power adapter jack, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, an HDMI 2.1, and a 3.5mm headset jack. So quite a good range of ports for such a slim and light workstation. And when I say slim and light, this thing feels amazing. This is a 16-inch laptop, but it feels light enough that you can easily throw it around in one hand. It feels solid in the usual ThinkPad fashion. It's very plain as well as a ThinkPad goes. And if we look to the bottom, you can see we've got quite a decent amount of ventilation for this cooling system. We will open it up in a second, and just a few screws holding this base plate on. So now let's take a look at the keyboard and the screen. So little lip to help you open it, and it easily opens with one hand. And we can see straight away that typical ThinkPad look. We've got just a single Core i7 sticker on here, and the ThinkPad logo in the bottom right. A good size touchpad, plus we do have the track point, and then the buttons for the track point. I know a lot of die-hard ThinkPad users love that. I personally don't use it myself, but I'm always using different brands of laptops, so I do normally use the trackpad. It is glass, and that does feel great. We'll test that out in a little while. When it comes to the keyboard, got the usual ThinkPad concaved keys. Not as much travel as per the Gen 4 and below, but still feels like a great keyboard to me. Either side, we do have our upward firing speakers. Speaker test of the P1 Gen 6 at 50% volume. And now 80%. So there we go, that's pretty actually impressive for a workstation laptop. Now the last time I had a ThinkPad X1, they were really quite disappointing speakers. These are really quite impressive. And above the speaker on the right hand side, we've got the power button, which incorporates a fingerprint reader, which is nice. Then as we move up to the screen, you can see we have a 16 by 10. This is a 2560 by 1600 panel, 165 Hertz with 500 nits of brightness, which is perfect for me. I love high refresh rates. I love that 1600p resolution, and 500 nits for me in a work and a bright environment is perfect. Now above the screen, we have the 1080p webcam, which looks and sounds like this. And this is a test of the Lenovo Thinkpad P1 Gen 6 webcam and microphones. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think they look and sound like. It's also got Windows Hello IR for facial recognition, which is a great way to log into your system. And then just above, for the security conscious, we have a little Think shutter. So that there, you can see it goes red when you turn it off. Open it back up again, you can see the camera is just about visible. So that's quite handy if you do not want anyone to be able to hack into your webcam and obviously take control of your webcam itself. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there now. I'm just going to quickly fire this up and log into Windows, and we're going to come back with a bit of testing. So Windows is all set up, we're back in, and I've had a little bit of time to play around with this laptop. And my overall impressions are incredibly good. As I've said, I've always loved the ThinkPad range, and I love the X1 range for the last previous few years, and this P1 is just as good. Now, a couple of little niggles I've found so far. I've already mentioned the fact that there isn't that deep travel that you used to have on the Gen 4 and below. Still a fantastic keyboard. Still got two-stage of backlighting, but I do prefer that deeper travel. Something I'll certainly get used to, but it's a shame when you're buying a ThinkPad. Second thing is the touchpad. It tracks well and feels great, but if you tap it like to do a tap to click, there's a very slight sort of hollow, like loose sound. It feels a bit cheap. And when you're buying a laptop that's this expensive, I want it to feel a bit more premium, like a lot of the other premium laptops that I've used. And I don't know if it just needs a bit of tightening, if I've just got a bit of a loose trackpad, but that's a bit of a shame. Now moving on to the screen, as I mentioned, this is the high refresh rate version with 165 Hertz. And I think for most people, this is the absolute sweet spot. It's got great brightness, it's got great resolution, it's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, and that's 2560 by 1600. But 165 Hertz on a workstation is amazing. Even if you're not gaming, everything just feels silky smooth on a high refresh screen. And I wouldn't recommend buying the base 300 nit 60 Hertz panel that you can get on this model. Now, some people may want to push up to the 4K OLED screen, because obviously OLED colors are amazing. That's also 400 nits of brightness. So if you're a content creator and you really want those saturated or oversaturated colors of OLED, that's a good option as well. But because I do plan on maybe using this for a bit of gaming, 3D design, video editing, all sorts of different devices, I prefer that high refresh screen. Okay, so let's talk about the internals on this laptop. Now, there are a number of different configurations when you're choosing one of these P1 systems. As I mentioned, I got the 4060 version with the 13800H. Now, if you buy anything above the base A1000 workstation cards, you're getting a vapor chamber cooler in these laptops. So this 4060 does have a vapor chamber cooler, which does provide better cooling for that CPU. So if you're running just the CPU for heavy rendering, having that vapor chamber cooler will give you a lot more power than if you buy the base model with that 1000 workstation card. So that's a definite consideration if you need that heavier CPU power. But if you get the vapor chamber design for this 4060, the 4080 or the A2000 and 4000 cards, you will only get one SSD slot and no WAN card slot. So if you need a WAN card or you need two SSDs, you unfortunately have to buy the base model, which has the traditional heat pipe and two fan design, and therefore allows more room on the motherboard for that extra M.2 and WAN slot. Now personally, I would rather have a more powerful laptop than worry about the extra M.2 and that WAN, so that's why I've chosen the 4060 model. You've still got two DDR5 RAM slots that are upgradable by the user. In my configuration, I've got one 16GB, so we'll be upgrading that soon to see if that gives me an extra boost by having two slots populated. So now we've talked about the internals on this laptop, how well does it perform? Now, first things first, I want to just mention that with the commercial range of ThinkPads, you do not get the same version of Vantage that you do on the Legions and the other Lenovo ThinkPads, so therefore you don't get the power profiles in Vantage. Instead, the power profiles are within the actual Windows battery settings. So by putting it on balanced, best performance or best efficiency provides different power levels to the CPU and GPU. Now this is a 4060 with 105 watts TGP, and when I put it in the best performance mode and ran through my time spy, the Cinebench R23, it really did pump some watts through these actual products. And I actually saw over 100 watts on this 4060 for such a thin and light workstation. That's really quite impressive. That led to some great Cinebench scores for the 13800H, as well as a good time spy score that was pretty much identical to the Blade 14 with 4060 that I've recently reviewed. But when you do shut that power mode down to balanced or best efficiency, you can see a massive drop on the CPU and the GPU performance. Now when I put it into balance mode, I noticed instantly in any of the sort of the gaming, the GPU is running at about 50 watts instead of that 100 watts that we're getting on the best performance. So that is going to take a big hit in your gaming benchmarks, but obviously it will run an awful lot quieter. So maybe if you're just using this as a workstation and you're doing Photoshop or maybe a bit of video editing, balances will be a lot more comfortable on your ears. Now we will test the fan noise and the temperatures in the gaming test in a little while, so stay tuned for that. But before I do, I just want to mention that this came out of the box with Optimus. It does not have advanced Optimus like some of their Legion range. So if you want to switch it to a dedicated mode, you have to do that within the BIOS. And then so we'll need a reboot, go into BIOS, switch to discrete graphics, and that totally disables the Intel GPU. And that does obviously give you access to the NVIDIA control panel and better performance on GPU at the expense of battery life. Now talking of battery life, we haven't had this machine long enough to do our full range of battery tests. So unfortunately, we're not going to give any numbers on the battery life today. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to know more information on the battery and many of the other areas, because that will be coming in the full review. But for now, let's get on to the actual gaming test to see how this performs. Okay, so we've just loaded up Apex to test a bit of gaming on this P1. Now I've got this running at the native resolution, so 2560 by 1600, and the highest settings. And as you can see, at the moment, we're pulling about 50 odd watts on the CPU and about 80 watts on the GPU. Nice and smooth. It feels fantastic, and it's just so nice having a high refresh rate screen for a workstation laptop. Now, it is getting quite warm, so I'm going to just check the temperatures on the keyboard in a minute. But that is the joys, unfortunately, of a thin and light laptop like this, but it's not overly loud. Now this is on the performance mode, which gives us the max wattage. I will switch it to balanced and show you the difference in a minute. So as you see, we get to the middle of the keyboard, we're getting 49 degrees. That is really toasty, not particularly comfortable. Look, 50 odd degrees there, 50 degrees, 52. And as we get back across the other side, we're dropping back off again. Now fortunately, the WASD keys, they're not too bad. So if you're resting your fingers on the WASD, you're not going to get burnt fingers, but the middle of the keyboard is uncomfortable. So we move to the palm rest, it's mid-30s, so again, quite comfortable. And at the top of the actual deck, where obviously it's pumping out, that's actually not too bad at all, sort of 46 degrees. So actually not as hot as the actual middle of the keyboard. Now fan noise, we've been running a fair few games now. So 50 decibels on that performance mode, that's really not bad at all. I've got plenty of gaming laptops that are well over 50 decibels. And it's just a nice whoosh of air, so it does feel quite comfortable to listen to. You can certainly hear the speakers, which are pretty good, over the actual fan noise. So now I have actually switched it to balance mode. You can see the performance has dipped off massively. Now we're running about 25 watts on the CPU and about 25 watts on the GPU. That's really poor. Fortunately, the frame rate is still okay because this isn't the most demanding game in the world. And we are still running 1600p max resolution, so actually not too bad considering. Now the fan noise has gone right down, but we will still check the temperatures in a second. So it's about 42 decibels on the balance mode. Now when I was running some benchmarks, we were pulling up to about 40, 50 watts on the GPU, so I'm not sure why. It is so low in Apex. Oh, we're up to now 40 here. But again, pretty low compared to the actual performance mode. Still playable, and the sound is actually really quiet. Now the keyboards might take longer to adjust, but the keyboard temps have come, yeah, the keyboard temps are coming down a little, but it might take a little while. So if you want a quiet experience and you're not running the most demanding of games, balance is definitely a way forward. This is so quiet. This actually feels really nice to listen to. Okay, lastly, we're on the efficiency mode, which is the absolute quietest and least performing mode. The sound is incredibly quiet. It's almost like it's inaudible. I think the sound of my office is actually louder than the laptop, so it's picking up as 39 degrees. It definitely sounds quieter than that. But as you can see, we're only getting about 20 watts on the CPU and about 28 watts maximum on the GPU. So this is definitely the lowest performing mode. Again, if you're running light tasks or maybe just the odd esport title, a bit of Dota or something, this would be more than acceptable. I mean, we're still getting 80 frames per second, max setting 600p, so it's actually not bad at all. So I've been playing now for a few minutes on the lower powered modes. Temperature's definitely dropping on the keyboard, whereas before we were hitting 52 degrees. We're getting a maximum now of about 45. So much more comfortable on the keyboard. So, you know, if you really need that performance mode, it is there, and it does give you some great power levels, but it is a lot louder and it is a lot hotter. So there we go. That's our first impressions on the unboxing on the new P1 Thinkpad from Lenovo. It is a fantastic workstation. And we're getting to the point now where a workstation is blurring the lines between a gaming laptop. The performance on this is very similar to the Blade 14 with the Ryzen 9 and the 4060. But considering this is a workstation which have always historically performed lower than their gaming counterparts, this is really impressive. Now, as always with ThinkPads, the pricing is incredibly expensive. This model cost me £2,500 in the UK. Whenever Lenovo release a new laptop, the pricing are always through the roof. And as they've been out for a little while, they do start introducing decent coupons and sales. And I do not think that this is particularly worth £2,500. I would certainly pay £2,000 or so for it. But again, that's something that you need to look at in your region with your discount coupons available. But for now, I'm going to spend some more time over the next couple of weeks really hammering this machine so I can come up with a full review. So as I mentioned earlier, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. We'll be coming back very shortly with a full review on this. We've got plenty more content coming soon. So as always, thanks for watching.